Hour.
Hello and welcome back to the Horror Hour, the show where we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. I'm one of your hosts, George, and today I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Yutaka.
Hello.
And today we're super excited. This is gonna be sort of like a, a culmination video, basically. So we have been very excitedly given access to Unnamed Footage Festival, which is in its 5th year now. We are super excited. As most of you will be aware, I'm a huge fan of found footage movies, and I'm super excited that we were given the opportunity to be given some screeners for a mixture of different films. And we're going to just talk briefly about the ones that we've seen today, what they were called, what we liked about them, what we didn't necessarily like about them, just to give you an idea. We'll stay away from spoilers, obviously, but just so you get an idea, and then we'll make sure to link all the stuff for Unnamed Footage Festival down below so you can check it out as well. But we were, yes, as we say, we were given a few screeners. I don't know how we want to do this, Yutaka. Maybe we just talk about the ones that we've seen and
Yeah, absolutely.
a quick brief overview of them. Okay, well, let's start off with then Deadware, which is your background. So tell me, what did you like about it?
So let me first off say this made me feel old. But it was totally nostalgic. But I really loved the whole premise is basically two people are back, I think, late 90s, and they are on a video chat, and then they end up playing an interactive game that could be haunted. And that's pretty much the premise, really. And I really loved the interaction between the two actors. I also enjoyed just the layout, the look that we were looking at a computer screen. It was done very well. And, this was a great way to do a really awesome low budget found footage. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think the actors really committed. And even the story was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, no, I agree. So it came out. It's 2021 movie. It was made, but it is set as if it is, as Utah says, back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and I think that was a really nice way to kind of, because we've had the likes of Unfriended and things like that now, where that the computer screen or the Zoom thing, obviously Host most recently, which was phenomenal. Those films that have sort of done that more recent sort of you're viewing a computer screen style. So it was quite nice to kind of have that sort of take it back a bit and kind of make it definitely gave it a fresh look. And I think as well, it's a great way to sort of have to make a good found footage film on a budget, because you can try and create it to make it look old. And the game they're playing, it's not like they're playing Cyberpunk when it's in like 4K and they're like, so it's a great way to kind of do it. And I agree, I really liked the two cast members who were in it. And I'd seen the girl who played Rachel in another found footage film, I think it was called The Last Call, that was also quite good. So if you haven't seen that, check that out as well. But yeah, I said that I loved the retro vibes. And I was just really intrigued. There was one jump scare that really got me during the film that I will talk about. I'll tell you after you tag it. But there was one that I was like, geez, maybe I was just
you were just too into it.
Yeah, either too into it, or sometimes when you look away for a second, it's just like and you come back. Oh my god. And yeah, so I said I really liked it, and I would definitely recommend it to people, because I think it just is a cool idea, and to sort of bring those retro vibes in. Was there anything that didn't gel with you about the film at all?
Honestly, no, because well, I mean, it's not a perfect film. And you know what? Yeah, I can't think of anything that really actually, yeah, no, I can't. Not that would make you say don't watch it, because I think, again, you have to go in when you see the nostalgic vibes, or when you see where the setting, there's not going to be much in terms of camera movement, if you think about it. And I get that makes total sense. And yeah, I think, again, they just really committed, and that's why it was more about the characters and not really about everything else. And like, I was hanging on their words, and as they were getting freaked out, I was kind of getting a little creeped out.
Yeah.
So I can't think of anything that like stood out that I was like, that's a negative.
Yeah,
We've got other films to where I can point some things out,
points
but
of
for
it.
this one, I enjoyed it and I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, and also it's literally like just over an hour long as well, which is great. I think this one was like an hour and 8 minutes maybe. So really good to like stick on. You know, if it's late at night, you think I
Yes.
just want something quick to put on. And I find that they do better. I sometimes think we've gotten into a place, especially for found footage, because the idea of found footage can come quite stale when it's done for a long amount of time, or
Yes.
especially if it's like, I mean, this one wasn't, but in the sense of like if it's a physical shaky camera, watching that for a long time can make you feel a bit like, okay, let's slow down. So that again, there is another good point. I love a short horror film. They're great, nice and easy. You get to the point,
It
there's
was,
no
yeah,
dragged out.
the pacing, like you said, yeah, it was. That's why I'm like, I can't think of anything too negative
Yeah.
because I had a great time and I thought, yeah, I plan on watching it again. Maybe I'll look at it more like, but first time watch, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. So yeah, everyone, that was Deadware, 2021 movie, by written and directed by Isaac Rodrigo. So up next, let's go on to the Zand Order, which is another 2021 movie. This one is basically about a lady whose daughter, I won't give too much away, but whose daughter is sadly his daughter has been murdered, and this is her
Mhm.
trying to, she believes that there is a cult or something else behind what happened to her, and this is the story of her with, along with a camera girl and a tracker, trying to find out exactly what happened to her daughter and who is behind it. So first thoughts for me, I was really looking forward to watching this film. I like the idea from the trailer. It's given very Blair Witch, you know. I really, and it was back to sort of the proper found footage, like handheld camera, obviously
Mhm.
different to Deadware them. And I think there was, the premise of the story was there. However, for me, I just, there was the, some of the acting in this just really did not hit the mark for me, and it really took me out of the film at times, unfortunately, where I thought I'm really focusing on the way that some of these actors are delivering their lines, and I'm just not invested. The story just kind of fizzled away for me there. I don't know how you felt about it, Yutaka.
Oh yeah, I sadly like I reading the story, I was intrigued. I was like, okay, this could be fun. But I certainly agree the acting was a little rough and at times it was like, oof,
Mm.
okay. It took me out, but I think what I really upset me the most though is they had a good story. I just don't think it was pulled off well.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud the effort. I think, maybe if they again, better acting would have helped, but I also think there was just some like character logic that was, I found myself frustrated with the characters in general. And that can make, when you're frustrated with characters, it just makes it hard to really get invested. And like I can watch a movie screaming all day long. That's cool. Go for it. But at times I'm just like, what, why? You're not, there's nothing happening.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. And so I was just like, oh, I'm getting irritated. And uh, yeah, and then there were just other things. I don't want to give spoilers, but the way they referred to, I guess, the what would be the antagonist, I'm like, who
Yeah.
thought that was okay to say that multiple times over and over? And obviously for me, that's why I'm like, as an Asian, I'm just like, oh, that's cringe, but I don't, it clearly was not meant for that, but it was just
It's just no, you thought somebody may have said, could this maybe be construed as like inappropriate in, if in some light, if it's picked up in that way? But yeah,
I
I
mean, the
agree.
first time I heard it, I was
You
just
were
like,
like, oh.
what?
You're like, oh. Yeah, no, I agree. Again, the acting, I was so excited about the idea of these, because it's based around these three women, and I thought, oh, this will be really cool, these like three women like wanting to find out the truth, and they're going to be going through this. And I thought, and I literally wrote, so I don't find it, I was just wrote somewhere that I was like, this is going to be so cool, like this team's going to be great. And I feel like as the film went on, either it was the acting or the way that the characters that had been written, they all just ended up like shouting over each other a lot of the time or yelling at each other. And I thought, this isn't like, I understand in the context of the film, you know, and the things that happened, that there would be arguments and things, and you know,
Yes.
there would be cross paths, but it was like from the get-go, it was just like they were like at each other's throat a lot of the time. And I just felt like this could have been such a great film about like these three women, like, we're going to go in here, we're going to find this cult, and we're going to do this, and this. And I felt like, yeah, either the acting or the story, the characters, or a bit of both, just kind of let it down. And you felt like, you were like, calm down, like this is
There,
like,
yeah, there was tension before they even got on the journey. And that's why I was like, ooh, that's not good.
no. So I mean, for me,
I I'll help you on this one, George, too. I don't know if I would recommend the Zand Order.
Mhm.
It was for me because one of the things, and George knows this, I absolutely love the Blair Witch Project.
Mhm.
It is one of my favorites. I still remember seeing it in cinemas, you know, again, because I'm old, but there were certain scenes that you can pay homage to, but this was blatant ripoff. That's what it came across to me.
Agreed.
I mean, it could have been like almost scene for scene. And I was just, and that to me, I was just like, okay, that really kind of, So I can't say I would recommend this. I would immediately just say, watch the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't and it's you know, it's no hate to anybody that did the film or but I just feel like it missed the mark for us. I mean, you might like it if you're interested. We may have given you a reason to go and check it out to see it, but if you, I just, yeah, I can't really say, I can't put it on a list of found footage movies that you have to watch, put it that way.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we can't like them all, you know,
Yeah.
and some of you might like it, and that's absolutely fine. But
True.
for us,
Yeah.
it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on, let's talk about then the Collingswood Story. Now, this film, very similar in a way to Deadware, again filmed on the computer screen with a retro vibe, although this time the retro vibe is actually real because this film was done in 2002. So it really gives, yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
it's an old film that was like, and it's actually one of the first movies, found footage movies, to ever do the computer screen in real time. So and I really, really enjoyed this film.
Huh.
Taka, you seem like taken aback by that.
Well, I was gonna maybe say there were things that I didn't. I was like, and maybe it's because we watched Deadware first.
Yeah.
But now knowing that when this was actually filmed,
This was the first.
Okay. I actually kind of appreciate that more. Okay. All right.
Because it does have very similar not a very similar story, but very similar themes to Deadware, I would say. But yeah. But I would definitely say watch both of them. I did, again, I enjoyed this film. I loved this was set in the early noughties, so I loved the noughties vibe, like the music they were playing in the background of some of the things. I was like, oh, this is so, like, it kind of, I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like, it's giving me like Scream like vibes, like with some of the music they were playing. And I enjoyed the actors and the characters, and for most part the story as well I found quite interesting. What about you, Taka? What did you think about it then?
You know, I really did actually enjoy the story. I think my only complaint was because it kept going back and forth with was she a psychic, a medium?
Yes. Yeah.
Like her character wasn't consistent, you know, and that's why I was just getting annoyed and maybe that's part of the character. But I found it to be, you know, at times she wanted to help, at times she didn't want to help. And then she's mad because she was trying to help, but you guys weren't listening. But I'm like, you're not being clear or concise to where, I mean, if it were me, I'd be like, I don't trust you. Mm-hmm. And also, there were certain things because I don't know. I also, I didn't feel the payoff was as great, I will say. But I loved everything for the most part leading up to it. You know what? If they would have taken out the 1-800 dial a psychic, I'm just going to say that. If they would have taken out half of those scenes, I think it would have gelled better, in my opinion. But I didn't feel as creeped out with this one as I did with Deadware.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. I feel for me, it was the sort of the vibe.
I still liked it, I should say, but
it wasn't, yeah, the fact wasn't there. No, I did still enjoy this. And again, I think it was sort of the noughties vibe and knowing that it was filmed back then that kind of gave it sort of a nostalgic vibe that I quite enjoyed. But yeah, I do think that the payoff, the ending there could have been a bit more there, because for me, I was a little bit confused at the ending. That could have just been me because I'm easily confused. But
no, I was. Okay. Also, no phone cord was going to be that freaking long when she was carrying it up. I was just like, what is going on here?
And you can't even say, oh, it's because it was filmed last year and they're just guessing. Like, that was filmed in the time when there was phone cords, like it was too.
I mean, I guess it could have been, but
she had a couple of extension leads.
Yeah. But I still enjoy it. I would still actually recommend it, because I think there were parts of it I enjoyed. Again, with the story, I really enjoyed the characters really committed, except for, the one that I would maybe cut a bit out, but unfortunately too late. But yeah, I still had a good time actually watching this one as well.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I would definitely say still check out if you want to. I think it's kind of a cool movie with some interesting parts anyway. So definitely.
And I think, again, it's still also kind of, it didn't feel that long. And so again, that's why I would still, that's a big part of, why I'm like, I can find some faults, definitely kind of in this one, but I still like, you know what? It was short, it was concise, and I still had a good time.
Yeah. So that's all we can say in that one, but definitely check it out if you like that sort of thing. And I think, it's one to watch anyway. Then we've got the Outwaters. So this film is basically about a group of friends who go into the desert to record a music video for one of their friends, who's a singer. And it's sort of the story of what happens when they're out there and things aren't all that they seem. The trailer kind of interested me when I watched the trailer. I was like, okay, this seems like it could be good. For me, it was a little bit confusing for me. There was I don't think that some things were explained properly. There was a lot of screaming and a lot of blood, which I don't normally mind, but when I know what's going on, it was like literally, the film was mostly at night a lot of the times, a lot of the main scenes with a tiny flashlight. So
I have concerns about that.
Yeah. So it was a little bit confusing for me what happened. Some of the things that happened to the characters, I was like, wait, did that not just happen to you? And I was like, really, there was stuff that went on. And yeah, I wasn't 100% sure by the end of it exactly what had happened to the characters or what it was about. So, I mean, I would probably, I think, even though I would maybe not recommend, I would say if you've got a group of friends and you're like, we want to watch something crazy, I would watch this film with friends, because you're all going to be like, what is going on? I don't know. What about you?
Okay. Yeah. For me, I would also say I was confused.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened by the end of it. I will say, though, there was some really great gore, and something that I was not expecting, as George and I had talked about prior, that was, whoa, holy, what just happened? So I will say that payoff at the end, though, as crazy as it was, or let me put it this way, as confusing as this movie was, that crazy ending was a fun payoff to me, even though I still came away like, what did I just watch?
Yeah.
But so aside from that, because I will say that ending was just too much fun for me. Yes, with the screaming, because it felt, I still didn't know what was going on. And that was, I think, more for me as the viewer, frustrating. But also just me, like, the women from the Zand Order were smart when they had these huge freaking lights that they were taken out with them.
Yeah.
Where this crew is in this freaking desert where there's absolutely no lights. and they're just getting this tiny little flash. That was so frustrating. I'm like, why would you not have a huge lantern? Like it just, I'm like, come on, guys. What the um but I will say one of the things I did like is I enjoyed all the actors. I thought they were fun.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think though they could have cut out maybe the first like, or not even the first, but they could have cut out about 10 to 20 minutes because it wasn't even really setting up story to me.
Yeah.
It was just, hey, we're in a desert or we're just exploring. And it's cool to see them having a great time. But even like I said, it just wasn't adding to it because that's still, I'm like, did I miss something? Is something happening that I should? Because there really isn't.
No.
And that's where I was like, oh my gosh. So I will tell you, I would recommend it in the same way George did, because yes, this would be fun with a group of people because we would all be like, what is happening? Oh my, like, and then by the end we look, there's some like, with a group of friends, that'd be amazing. But watching it by myself, I was just like,
it was the longest of the films that we've watched. I think it was about an hour and 45 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes. And I did feel that runtime more so at the beginning. I was like, because at the end stuff does pick up, believe me, like it goes from 0 to 100 real quick. But yeah,
that's
like
what I'm saying. If you can get to that is like, I mean, that was just batshit insane. And it was like, I had a lot of fun with it because at that point I was like, I'm up for anything at this point.
Yeah.
So the runtime though was oof. I was feeling it.
Yeah. But hey, yeah, as we said, you would recommend it.
I with a group of friends, yes, because I would have had a lot of fun. And I was watching the credits and I think they did a lot of their own music too. So I think that was partly maybe some of this that they were kind of maybe promoting, which I thought was really cool. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I was watching the credits and you could see that they actually they were all doing multiple roles. So I think that's really awesome when you get into these found footage and you kind of see, the work that they're putting into it. And again, I think some of the gore and special effects at the end, I was living for.
Yeah, I agree. Because sometimes when a lot of these more budget found footage films, when they do gore and stuff, it can sometimes look a bit false. But
yes,
but with this they definitely put their money into it. So yeah,
I would still,
I would say, with friends, I mean, I don't know if I'd go back and watch it in a hurry on my own, but I think if I was a group of friends who are like, we want to watch something crazy, I'd be like, okay, you need to watch this film because
absolutely.
I think it would be good. And then we've also got our final film that we've watched. I haven't watched this yet, so I'm gonna let you take the reins on this. It is Curse of Aurora. So Shaka, go for it.
Oh my gosh. Can you give like a little synopsis? You wrote everything down. No, I'm terrible at this, guys. But actually, this one, The Curse of Aurora, was my favorite, honestly. And so I'm really bummed that George didn't watch this. And I think George would absolutely love this. Basically, it's 3 filmmakers. They're up in Canada. They're trying to do their next project. And basically, they're in a town, and there's a backstory of a girl named Aurore who, had abusive parents that basically, because of them, she ended up dying a horrible death. And so the town to this day still puts gifts on her grave, all this. But so these filmmakers are there and they're working on their next screenplay and all this, and they're visiting and they're looking at all these places. And so it's about kind of the haunting of this town, but maybe something else. And so the entire time, there are glitches when they're filming, but they don't notice. And I kind of really liked it. But this is an older film. This is its first actual theatrical release because it is actually streaming. I found out. I may actually buy this, honestly. That's how much I enjoyed this one. Because I loved all the characters. I think it was they really committed to the acting in terms of that, but the story, it may seem generic, but it was really fun because you kind of throughout the course of the film, you get to see their backstory from how these three know each other to what they've been through to what they're working on, what they want to do in the future. Like you see these characters evolve. Meanwhile, then you see the town around them somewhat accept them, somewhat not, and it's just crazy how it like it's also another one that like ends like holy hell, this is amazing. And except unlike the Outwaters, this I think this is a longer one too. You don't feel the runtime, in my opinion, on this one because they start out real quick, like giving you little scares here and there, and I really did enjoy that.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I am going to watch it tonight, guys. So by the time this video goes out, what I will do is I will pin my comment in the down below of what I thought about it, so you can get some thoughts as well. So in case you're really like, oh my god, I need to know what George knows.
Really watch this. It really, so to the folks who haven't, I think the festival might already be over now that when we drop this, but this is out, I believe, on Amazon Prime Video. It truly is. If it's not, it's worth a rental. I'm dead serious. I am buying this, and I'm even going to see if we can reach out to the people because I would love to just chat with them. It was a great, honestly, this was a really amazing found footage. And ask George knows this isn't my bread and butter like it is George's. So I really, for me personally, I really enjoyed this one, and Deadware as well. I still would recommend that too, but this one I would like, yes, I would tell you to pay money to see this if this were in theaters.
There you go. And that's what I was excited about because when Yutak had mentioned this festival to me, and he was like, oh, we'll reach out. And I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And he was like, I know that you like it. So it's nice now that we're talking about it, that you also enjoyed
oh yeah,
the majority of the films that we'd watched.
It was fun, and there's still a couple more, so maybe we'll do a recap once we see those. But honestly, I hope next year to be there in person. We found out about this last minute, and we're just so thankful that we got the opportunity to cover this festival.
Yeah, so that is, I'll put the links down below in the description, but it's the Unnamed Footage Festival. It's its 5th year now, so make sure to go and check it out, see the list of films they've got, and see if there's any that particularly that you might want to check out in general. And yeah, thanks to them for letting us cover this, and we can't wait to cover more. But on that note, thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. As always, we're always pumping videos out these days. There's always at least 1 or 2 a week, so keep an eye out, if not more, depending on what we've got planned. We've got more festivals planned in the future, haven't we? Boston.
We do the Boston Underground Film Festival. It's another one that we're just very thankful that we get to cover. I can't wait. We'll be covering it more on Twitter because these will be kind of like first look reviews. We can't do a ton just yet, but be on the lookout because we'll be dropping some deets, but we're excited. But if you're in Boston, we'll drop those links down below. Go check it out.
Yeah, definitely do. And like you, Tiger, said, most of it will be on Twitter. So if you're not already, go over and follow us on Twitter. It's at the Horror Hour TV, the same as our Instagram as well. And yeah, that leaves us to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.